Look at this, I want to show you something. That deer worked on that bay tree. He tore it up, broke limbs off, got him laying on the ground. Looks like he started to scrape down there. That thing's huge. Hey folks, thanks for stopping by. Hey, if you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down there. That'll help us out. And if you hadn't subscribed, we greatly appreciate it if you consider doing that as well. Now here we go. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at Cahawba, which is actually the first state capital in Alabama. And I'm gonna tell you, it's in the middle of nowhere. So I'm not sure how they figured out this would be a good place for a state capital, but we're gonna go check it out and see what's around this place and see what's left. So y'all come go along with us, and here we go. Here's a marker. It said Lafayette's tour on April 5th, 1825. General Lafayette was welcomed at the State House, visited the Halo Masonic Lodge, and dined at Mr. White's Hotel. Well, I'm sure that was all probably located right here, but we're gonna go see if we can find any of this stuff. Just a word of note, you do have to pay an entrance fee. It's $2 per adult, $1 per child. Please pay inside when the visitor center is open. And the visitor center is open. And we have a map. So we're going to check it out, pay our fee, and take you around the rest of Old Cahawba. Hey, just a little bit of information here. I'm going to read it out of the pamphlet. It is 1819 is when it was first become Alabama's state capital. Pretty much it says it was carved out of the wilderness, so I believe that. That ironically it was built up on the remains of an earlier ghost town, 16th century Mississippian Indian village. Alabama's governor incorporated these ancient earthworks into the centerpiece of the capital city. After the capital was moved, it was moved to Tuscaloosa in 1826. So, but it says Cahawba survived as a county seat. So we're going to walk around this place and see what all it has. Yeah, as we walk around this place too, it says be surprised if you see any ghosts, because it's still a ghost town, still considered a ghost town. So y'all be on the lookout for them. Maybe something the camera picks up that the naked eye don't see. Maybe y'all see it. So we're gonna walk on around and check it out. Here's a shot of the map, and it still has the streets listed as were here when it was state capital. And they do have canoe launch and canoe takeout here. So bring your canoes and launch in the Cahawba River and take out right on the Alabama River. So pretty cool. Of course, it lists what each number spot is, so we're going to check them out. Alright, as we was walking around here, we come up on this old cemetery. So we're going to go out here and see if we can see what that's about, see who may be buried here. And you can pause the video and read the sign. It tells you about some of the ones that from the tombs that's been destroyed already, which is pretty sad. So there's 7 marked ones remaining. 6 of those are Elizabeth Colamander, Mary L. Harris, Thomas B. Rutherford, Indiana Crenshaw, George William DeWolf, and M. Elijah Clapp Jr. So we're going to go out here and see what this is all about. Alright, here's some of the graves. They're still here. These look a little newer. some of these behind me. I think this is the original old cemetery here. You can see some of the brick walls still around from the grave sites. Do have it kind of marked off. Some of the tombstones are really faded and hard to read. Some of them just have a concrete slab on top of them. I don't know if we can read this one or not. Yeah, this is Thomas B. Rutherford. So, pretty overgrown. There's another brick wall. I'm sure there's some graves inside it, but no markers left. Alright, we got another one right here. There's M. Elisha Clapp, it looks like. Died August 8th, 1823. Well, pretty old. Looks like we got one out here in the middle of these woods. Let's see if we can get over here and see what it says. Oh, and there's a couple slabs right there. I'm sure it's grave. Y'all don't let me fall in a grave walking through here. If I do, I'll probably come back out pretty quick. Okay, this one's not as old. John K. Lotman, Alabama private. World War I, born January 2nd, 1890. Died July 11th, 1962. So this one's not quite as old, but you can see they've got some old blocks that kind of marked off the spot here, and there's another slab next to it. So we're going to walk on along. We see some other things we're going to go check out. As we're walking along here, looks like you got one that may be sunk in there. This whole area may have been a cemetery at one time. Let's walk up here and see what this one's about. Okay, there's Eliza Bennett, born February 17th, 1890, died February 8th, 1960. And we've got some over here too. That one sunk in there. Hard to make that one out. Klein Williams, maybe. We got a couple more here. Looks like it's hard to read. Got another one that sunk in there. So there's probably just graves strewn all through these woods. Pretty cool. Alright, this is not a cemetery here, but it's just markers placed here to memorialize the federal soldiers who died in the Cahawba military prison during the Civil War. There's the men within the prison call it Castle Morgan. No one knows where in Cahawba these men were initially buried, however, we do know they're no longer here. In 1867, after the war, the federal government dug them up and moved them to a cemetery in Montgomery, Alabama, and were later moved again to the Marietta National Cemetery in Georgia, where they rest today. You can kind of see a list of names. We'll walk out here and look at some of the markers. I'll have to clear some pine straw off of them. Unknown. Unknown. I guess they all marked them as unknown. Place these markers here. And they've got it cabled off. No way around it. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, right across from Visitor Center, they do have a nature trail, Clear Creek Nature Trail. It's a quarter of a mile, so if you're interested in doing that, check that out. But right beside that is the St. Luke's Episcopal Church. It was built in 1854, so a little bit later than the state capitol was founded here. It's pretty cool nonetheless. Alright, here's a little bit more about St. Luke's Episcopal Church here, so feel free to pause the video and read it if you like, but we're going to see if we can get in this thing. Looks locked. It's not locked. Ooh. That little door. Looks like they've been doing some work on it. That's a cool seal. Alright, there's a kiosk here. Kind of tells you about downtown Cahawba. And if you look down the road my truck is parked on, that's Vine Street. And that used to be packed with businesses on both sides of the road. Interesting fact, Chinaberry tree, for those of you that have seen it, they brought them over and actually planted them because they were fast growing. Chinaberry tree is still here. Businesses are gone. I don't know if you can see it, but just on the other side of those picnic tables is the Alabama River. And I stated earlier, this used to be a Indian camp of Mississippians. They've actually got a mound here which is a burial ground the town was built on. Probably why the town's dead now. Just a little information for those of you that's never seen a China berry tree. Well, here you go. These little berries on the end, and they do make a mess. And there's a monument right here at the end of Capitol Street, which they do have all the streets marked off. Just some doesn't exist anymore, but they got them marked. Cahawba's first state capital, 1818 to 1826. This stone marks the site of Cahawba, selected November 21st, 1818 as the first permanent capital of Alabama. The seat of government remaining here until it removed to Tuscaloosa, a legislature on January 1825. And right there is where the State House stood. And something pretty cool right behind the stone marker is a bicentennial time capsule. Dedicated October 4, 2019 to be opened October 4, 2044. Well, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll be around. Alright, here's a little bit about the first state house that stood here. Built in 1819, destroyed in 1833, before the invention of photography. There are many drawings of the State House, but they're all pure conjecture. But we don't have a drawing, and we don't have a photograph. So we've got a few people rendition of what they think it looked like. But right now, yeah, that's what it looks like. Here's some pretty cool facts about the railroad depot and the commissary. That in 1858, the Cahawba, Marion, and Greensboro Railroad Company laid tracks down Capitol Street so bales of cotton could be transported from distant plantations to warehouses in Cahawba, which stood all along the river right behind Tammy. And there was one guy, Joseph Babcock. He owned these. And then there, a deep hole right behind the sign, there was a cellar in the Babcock's brick store. His family home, kitchen, and garden stood between this store and his warehouse. But my guess, his home is right in there somewhere.
But it flooded.
Alright, I mentioned earlier about the federal prison here. That in 1862, the Confederacy used one of its Cahawba's brick cotton warehouses to temporarily house men captured at the Battle of Shiloh. In 1863, they officially converted the warehouse into a military prison. Inmates called it Castle Morgan, reportedly after the daring Confederate raider John Hunt Morgan. And what's kind of cool about it, or not so cool about it, is the warehouse measured 200 by 125 feet. But by the end of the war, 3,000 men were confined in this small space. But it did have an artesian well in it that supplied fresh water for drinking, bathing, and sanitation. And then at the end of the war, many of the federal prisoners from Cahawba were placed aboard a steamboat called the Sultana. Then after Surviving the bloody battles and harsh prison life, they finally headed home. But the joy ended in tragedy when the crowded boat exploded near Memphis on the Mississippi River. Most of the men aboard were killed. The Sultana disaster is still considered the worst maritime disaster in U.S. history. Pretty sad there. But you know what? Even in an old ghost town, they got a sign. Alright folks, that's going to wrap up the video here at Cahawba, first state capital of Alabama. It was actually built in between the Cahawba River and the Alabama River. So right where the Cahawba River runs into the Alabama River, in case you're interested. And there is a canoe launch and a canoe takeout here, so you can put in the Cahawba, float all the way around and take out in the Alabama River. And as we say when we're planning our next new adventure, why not go see a old ghost town that was the first state capital of Alabama? And we're gonna get out of here because I think there's some haint showing up.